Policing TV, I'm delighted to be joined by re-elected Staffordshire Police Fire and Crime Commissioner Ben Adams. Ben, congratulations on your re-election, your second term, your re-election last week. Can we start by giving you the opportunity to say something about your experience of that election campaign?
Yeah,
What, for example, people were telling you on the streets as you were going round canvassing?
yeah. It's been campaigns are always fascinating, and it's perhaps the most directly connected that any elected member gets to the public. Certainly in a sustained way. For me, it's been getting on for 3 months of pretty much constant campaigning. So meeting people, I guess one particular reflection is that I was meeting people who, in the main, felt safe. Were pleased to see me, but asking why I was there. And my plan is to keep them safe, keep them feeling comfortable and reassured. So that was rewarding, actually, because in the job you do hear from people who've got concerns, they've got issues, perhaps they're raising a complaint, following something up, and that's really important. But it isn't everybody, and in fact, thank goodness, not everybody is needing to speak to the police or fire service on a regular basis. So that was helpful, and I did work very hard, and it is quite tiring, but I feel fitter as a result of that. And then the election for me, like many others, actually has been extremely close. And I think more than any election for some time, you could almost say that perhaps what you've achieved, your track record, has been worth less than it might ordinarily be, because there are a number of national factors. Those are influenced by international factors, wars, pandemics, other things that make life difficult for people at the moment. And they are making even local decisions around their police and fire service uh, with those national considerations in mind. So it's a little frustrating, but it's also the nature of the task. So yeah, I've enjoyed the process. I'm glad to be here. 3 years before due to COVID, 4 years now I can get properly stuck in, and hopefully continue to support the both services on what I think is a journey to becoming outstanding.
The, uh, so the journey to outstanding, you're starting from, or rather, Staffordshire Police is starting from a relatively low base. His Majesty's inspectors of constabulary, FRS file rescue service, HMIC FRS, have Staffordshire on their watch list, effectively.
Mm.
And um, as you said, your 3 year term, curtailed from the normal 4 year term, will have given you less opportunity to get your teeth into improved performance.
Yeah.
With that learning from that 3 years, your previous term, what now are you going to be looking to do to bring Staffordshire Police up to the level of performance that you and the population in Staffordshire would truly wish?
Well, I think for the public and perhaps partners to some degree as well, they're looking for the service to leave that engage phase. It's known colloquially as special measures, I guess. It's additional monitoring, particularly for Staffordshire Police around contact, identifying potential risk at the contact stage, which we were discharged from before Christmas. And the other area of concern was around quality of investigation. Now, that would be the time it takes to put files together, gather evidence, get to court, but also were we investigating everywhere we could, everywhere there was a line of inquiry. And that's been a tremendous amount of work by the service, an audit of several thousand previous cases, reopening some cases in some cases, and testing that through a thorough process with HMI, but also with the College of Police, with Home Office, and other partners who come around the table at a regular quarterly monitoring meeting. And the idea is that they're there to wrap around and help the service to move rapidly. I think that's been a supportive process. The new chief constable that I brought in 2 years ago now has been instrumental in putting the approach to that, the policy review, the thorough audit in place. And I'm as confident as I can be now that we're not going to be in that stage of enhanced monitoring for very much longer. In fact, we have a meeting next week, and I'm not sure what else we could do. So I'm hopeful HMI will say, good, move on under your own steam. And meanwhile, we're very, very busy improving other areas of service. Contact's dramatically improved. We're now one of the top 10 on answering 999 calls within 10 seconds, which is where we wanted to be. Still some room for improvement around our slower non-emergency 101 service. And in really every aspect of policing, whether it's more local presence, commanders back in each neighbourhood, better response, our demand is up. Our demand's up about 15% on pre-COVID, emergency demand that is. So maintaining our response times, policing the roads more effectively, removing organised criminals on their way to and from incidents is all a step change from where we were. And my job really as commissioner isn't to direct all of that, because of course I've got a brilliant professional team. They're the operational experts. My job is to engage with the public, understand their expectations, play those into the policing plan, which the Chief Constable takes account of, make sure he's then got the resources. It is a he in this case, a gentleman called Chris Noble. He's got the resources, the budget. I've added over 250 extra officers, which takes us up to just over 2,000 here in Staffordshire. Not quite our peak, but not far off. And we've maintained our police community support officers as well. So our neighbourhood team is as big as it's been for some years, and the response team's much more local. So we're making some good progress.
So what I'm hearing in that is that the steps that the chief that you appointed in your first term
Yeah.
has taken himself the steps that are going to improve the performance of Staffordshire, that you have confidence that that is going to achieve the desired result. You are, as PFCC, not responsible for the operational decisions of the chief, that is the chief constable, but you are responsible for holding the chief constable to account
Yes.
for that performance. It sounds very much as if the corner has been turned, and that you're looking forward to delivering or hearing and responding to that good news. You also have the support of the electorate in that, even though it might have been with a lesser majority in your first term, you still have that confidence of the electorate through that election. So what sorts of things? We focus a little on the more negative side, the challenges that are associated with Staffordshire Police. Are there particular areas beyond the work that's been turning the corner where you think, Staffordshire Police, that is really exceptional work that's going on by officers and staff within the constabulary?
Yeah, and I think in two or three areas actually, but it's perhaps not. Just before we move on, I mean, the service was not where it needed to be 3 years ago. It was really in the doldrums. We wouldn't have been the first. Humberside, probably recognised as the best performing service at the moment, were there themselves only 10, 15 years ago. So climbing out of that is important. I don't quite understand what happened around here prior to me arriving, but the pandemic had a big impact. I wasn't seeing a service where decisions were being made right the way through the organisation, people taking responsibility, ownership, either locally or around themes, and that's changed very, very rapidly under the new Chief Constable. So those cultural things really matter. I guess the one the residents would talk about is that since the pandemic, there have been an increase in organised criminals targeting vehicles. Now, whether that's cars, vans, motorbikes, even, often coupled with breaking into houses to get keys. They operate a sort of county lines model where generally young people are tasked, they're dropped off in an area, they're threatened to bring back a vehicle or else. And we're having cars stolen by children, essentially, 16 and 17-year-old boys predominantly, more concerned about the threat from the gang leader than they are from the police service. Now, losing your car is a big deal. It's your second biggest asset, and being broken into as well is no fun at all. So the service here set up an operation called Bournemouth. It's local response cops, neighbourhood teams, working with our colleagues in the West Midlands around motorway policing group. We've strengthened our road policing unit. That's gone back to 24-hour, 7-day a week. And believe it or not, we've got the armed response vehicles, we've got police dogs teams, all part of the group that will get involved in pursuits if they identify this activity, tracking stolen cars, stopping vehicles, and dealing with the organised criminals. And unfortunately, because it's young people, we've also had some tragic situations where there's been accidents as a result of a pursuit or an inexperienced driver. And one young man lost his life, unfortunately. So this is a big deal, and it's I think an area of where Staffordshire has had to respond. We are bordered by big cities in Birmingham, Wolverhampton, Walsall, and to the north, to some degree, Manchester and so on. But it's predominantly a problem in the south of the county, which is easily accessed by our good road network. And I think that's a good example of a service moving to meet an emerging threat. Largely organised criminals, but affecting communities that would pretty much otherwise be very low crime.
So what I'm hearing there is pride, particularly in the Staffordshire Police response to county lines, the stealing to order, for example, that you've
Yep.
described there. I'm sure there are many other areas where there is pride in the work that Staffordshire Police are doing. We have only limited time on this occasion. And I do hope that we, Policing Insight and Policing TV, will have an opportunity to feature more of the work that Staffordshire Police and your own Office of the Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner are doing. I also wish you and the force well in the assessments, the updated assessments that HMIC FRS will shortly be publishing. But Ben Adams, Staffordshire Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner, for the time being, at least, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.